Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that remote. All right, now we're going to meet a new personality in the area, and he has a new job. A new job is created in East Norton Township, and it's the East Norton Human Relations Commission. And we have the chairman here, a newly created position in East Norton. Okay, so a lot of people are going to say, well, what is the Human Relations Commission? What do they do? Well, this program is going to be about the chairman, where he's coming from, what he's doing, how he does it, and it's going to be educational. I think each town is helping each town, so I mean helping the people in the community. So my guest is Don Ben, and we have a lot in common because he has a lot to do with law enforcement. He was a former probation officer, he's a warrant officer, he was a member of the district attorney's office victim witness unit. He was a youth panel, so he had a lot to do with the same thing I did, as working with youth. So, and he's also a private detective, certified, and so that's, you know, I don't want to spend all the time talking about how many degrees he has, because you know, one guy had so many degrees, they call him Kid Thermometer. So right now, I want to know something about him, and I want to know what he does. So, welcome to the Hank Cisco Show.
Thank you, Hank.
Now,
it's a pleasure to be here.
As chairman, what exactly is the Human Relations Commission
of East Norton? Of East Norton, let's get it straight. The East Norton Human Relations Commission is a brand new commission, like you said. It's comprised of 4 individuals, myself and 3 co-commissioners, and we are here to address issues of civil rights, human rights, basic rights, any violations that might pop up within the township of East Norton.
So now, you're the chairman of it, right?
Somehow they elected me chairman.
Okay. Now, and what do they do now? Tell me something. What I know they have about 4 or 5 sheets of what the functions are.
Oh, we've got 20 pages of rules and regulations.
Okay. So tell me what the scoop is.
The scoop, if we cut it down, we get through all the legal mumbo jumbo, we get right down to the heart of things. Folks who feel that they have been wronged, they've been discriminated against, they've been the victim of, it's called a hate crime, although hate crime would be police and district attorneys. Mm-hmm. But if they've been the victim of discrimination.
Could even be a neighbor, right?
Oh, a lot of times it is a neighbor.
Right.
If they feel that they've been the victim, they can come to us, they can ask us questions based on what they tell us, based on what they ask us. They can file a complaint with us. If a complaint is filed with us, we will mediate the complaint if necessary. If we can't handle it, if we don't think we should handle it, we may give it to the police, we may give it to the state, we may pass it on to the Department of Justice if it's big enough.
And then, but you keep in contact your relationship with the police, because I know sometimes police feel that you're looking over their shoulder.
You know, hopefully they don't feel that in East Norton. We have a great relationship with our chief of police. We know most of the patrolmen, the detectives. We're there to help them. A lot of times the police come to a scene where the first thing you hear out of somebody's mouth is, oh, you're discriminating against me because I'm X, I'm Y, I'm Z.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Z you discriminate against, but not X and Y.
Right.
And the police need something other than a pair of handcuffs to deal with the person. They can come to us. We can diffuse situations.
Well, the police, they're tools. The handcuffs, the nightstick, whatever it is, they're tools that they use when you know. I'm a former police officer. I didn't take the job to hurt anybody, and I sure don't want to get hurt. I don't want nobody hurting me.
Well, not only didn't you take the job to hurt anybody, but I bet you had the same feeling as 99.9% of us. You didn't like bullies. You didn't like seeing people get hurt.
Right.
And a lot of what we do is we fight bullies, people who discriminate against the little guy.
Right.
Picked on her because she was a woman. Picked on him because he was disabled. Picked on them because they were elderly. Picked on them because they came from a foreign country. There's no room for bullies.
You know, I'm a former police officer. I was in the command position also. And we're going to talk a little bit about that case in Philadelphia where a lieutenant hit a lady and knocked her down. And he says he was trying to knock the bottle out there. But looking at that thing, it looked like she was facing this way. He was come running over and give her a right hook. And she went down, and then he handcuffed her. And then he handcuffed her. He didn't put his name on the arrest warrant. He handcuffed her. He hit her, and he don't put his name on the arrest warrant. And then they go to court, and the judge, his wife is a policeman. Now, that is wrong. Now, with that human relation, look, if that lady comes to human relation, look, I was, what do you think? But now the judge already ruled, says not guilty.
Well, in that case, there's no double jeopardy, but the feds can come in on civil rights violations. And boy, did I not want to answer questions about that case.
Yeah.
But if something like that would happen in East
Well, I'm just telling you what happened, and then the law professor is saying that he should have excused himself in that case. But that's something else.
As a civilian, I think he should have excused himself in that case.
Right.
As a person who knows a little more, I know enough to keep my mouth shut.
Right,
but if that was to happen here,
I don't want to judge anybody, but like I say, I would be concerned. There was a lot of questions about that. Now, there's different classes of individuals that feel that they're like they're Puerto Rican, they're Italian, they're black, Afro-American, whatever. Okay. There is certain areas that if you discriminate against these people, you feel you're not sure. Can you just come and ask a question rather than filing a complaint?
Absolutely. We'd rather you ask a question than open up a big can of worms that maybe you can't close afterwards.
Some people might go to the newspaper and put it in the paper and say, oh, and then find out it's a whole different ball game.
A lot of this is about the dignity of the person, both the person who feels wronged and the person who may have done the wronging. A lot of times it's a misunderstanding. A lot of times it can be dealt with just by this guy sitting here, this guy sitting here, one of us or two of us in the middle asking, did you hear him? We can mediate. We can facilitate. We can almost arbitrate. We can get people to realize, hey, he's a human being, I'm a human being. Let's come to terms.
Well, do you remember the guy that, Gino down there, he was brought before the commission and saying that he didn't want to speak English, and the human commission, but they found out that he wasn't discriminating against them.
Well, what they found out in his case was that he had a heart of gold, that everybody got a stake, everybody got a job. He gave so much to charity.
Yeah.
He had an opinion. His opinion was order in English.
It was, because if the guy can't, it's the same thing with the if I get on the line at the ShopRite or a Rite Aid or and somebody's standing there arguing back and forth because the guy can't understand how much you have to pay for the items, you're in line. Hey, get out of there,
If he would have said order in English or I'm not going to serve you, that would have been discrimination.
Yeah, he's not. He didn't.
No. He said, please order in English.
Right, that's all. So the line moves along pretty good. All right, now, have you received any complaints since you got, since you get flooded with complaints since you got hired?
We would. We probably will after this airing. But we are 2 months old, and we have not had our first complaint yet. So we are spending our time training.
Right.
We have people coming in from the state to train us, people coming in from the Department of Justice to train us, people coming in from clergy to train us, people coming in who do nothing but train people.
Diversity.
Diversity is everything. Our board is diverse. There are 4 of us, like I said. We have a female, we have 3 males, we cover a number of religions, a number of age groups, a number of races, a number of everything. We're diverse. The 4 of us, I think, are covered by 12 different protected classes.
Yeah, you don't want everybody with blonde hair and blue eyes, You know the old story, if all sunshine makes deserts. So you want a little rain and hail and snow, and you have a beautiful garden, right?
It takes many colors to make a rainbow. Absolutely right.
You have a rainbow, and you have everything that goes with it, right? I worked with district attorneys when I was a policeman. I had to get the information, give the district attorney, out there. But when I talk to the district attorney, I say, your job is to convict them on the evidence you have, okay? Now, sometimes you make the investigation, you're helping the victim, and you're also the one that's being accused because he may be accused falsely, okay? So that's the job. So somebody comes with a complaint, you know, and make the victim all of a sudden, you know, the guy don't have anybody stand. But you find out the truth. And sometimes the guy might be making up a story, just like that guy, the state senator in New Jersey. The girl says he's a prostitute, and turned out now she's, no, I didn't get paid.
News came out, yeah.
So I don't know, they're bobbing and weaving there. I don't know, that's something else, you know.
Well, I just want to say, I don't think the job of the district attorney is to convict. The job of the district attorney is to present the evidence and let the judge or the jury do the convicting or the not convicting.
But in the meantime, in their investigation, to find out that everything was right, the warrant and everything was okay pertaining to the arrest, and pursue into the courts.
Right.
You know.
I've never met a district attorney who did their investigation and found out things weren't the way they thought they were, and continued to prosecute. District attorneys want the truth, and we want the truth.
That's right. So that's what I'm saying to you as a chairman. You're looking at it to make sure that the truth comes out and make sure that everybody gets a fair shake.
Not only a fair, I'm glad you said fair shake, because as a former boxer, I look at what we do as almost a referee.
Right.
We want to make sure that it's a fair fight, that there's no hitting below the belt, there's no rabbit punch, there's no kidney punch, there's no headbutts. Everything is fair.
Right.
And a lot of times it's not fair because you have a little complainant and $1 million corporation. And it's Davy and Goliath. And we kind of balance things out.
So I have a picture of me boxing there, but I refereed championship boxing bouts, so I know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And sometime I had to make a decision. I had to stop a fight when I think and all of a sudden the people don't see. I look at the cut is here, and I stop the fight because in my opinion, it should be stopped. But the people, oh, no. But, you know, I had to convince it later to find out that the cut was bad, that they couldn't continue.
We've got the ability to tell the two opponents, go to neutral corners.
Right.
It's not like there's a lawyer, and they both going tooth and nail with each other.
No,
we have the ability to find middle ground.
Now, tell me, you know a little bit about commissions. Now, does each town have one, or what's the work on that?
Montgomery County has 61 or 62 townships and boroughs.
Right.
I learned that when I was over at 911 as a dispatcher. I had to learn every single code for every single township.
Right.
Surprisingly, out of those 61, 62 township and boroughs, there's only 9 human relations commissions. Most places don't have one.
Why?
I think it comes down to politics. Everybody thinks they don't need one, except for places who think they do need one. And the truth is, everybody needs one the way everybody needs a fire extinguisher or a spare tire or a first aid kit, because you never know when you're going to have a flat tire or a fire or cut your arm.
Yeah.
And what do you do after the fact?
You know, I think when I first started in Norristown Police Department, it was 1951 or so. After about 3 or 4 years, Chief Riley says, well, he'd like to set up a juvenile. I was handling juveniles because I was teaching boxing and stuff. So the state said, we will finance you, we'll give you $3,000 a year to set up a juvenile division in the police department, okay? So our mayor at that time, he said, I think that's a good idea. So they got the $3,000. I had to buy a desk, typewriter, everything to do with juvenile, nothing else, okay?
Sure.
But a lot of communities in Montgomery County, no, I don't want that money. If I get that money, they're going to be telling me what to do. Next thing you know, I was the first juvenile officer in Montgomery County, okay? So then I was the first juvenile officer in the district attorney's office. But next thing you know, I was getting the desk, typewriter, you know, telephone, blah, 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 blah. Then next thing you know, up at Marion, the East North, they all start getting juvenile. They're getting this money, see? But then one guy, one township, instead of using the money to juvenile, they were just putting in the general fund. They find them.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
The point is here, you have a job to do, see? And that's important, you know. And I think your background and the way you present yourself, I'm sure you're the right guy.
Well, let me tell you, I may be the weakest guy out of the 4 of us because my 3 co-chairmen are terrific.
You have their names? Or you
Sure, I'm happy to mention them.
Good.
We've got my neighbor who lives a couple houses away from me.
What's his name?
His name is Jim Doherty. He's a former business executive. We've got, notice how I go blank when I'm on TV. We've got John DePietro, one of the finest attorneys in East Norriton.
Petro.
And we have Cheryl Horsey, who is a educator at one of the local colleges.
What's her last name?
Horsey, like
Name's
giddy up, giddy
familiar.
up.
That name's familiar.
She was the head of the Norristown Youth Aid Panel at one time. She's very active in every civic and social organization that
name
goes
is familiar. And who's the other one?
on. Jim Doherty and John DePietro.
What's four?
Oh yeah, there's me too.
That's you.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I don't count.
So, all right, now, these townships, the other townships, have you contacted them to see pick up some ideas on what some of their problems were, or
Sure.
some of the problems along the way?
We're lucky that there are organizations. There's the Montgomery County Advisory Commission that gets everybody together. There's the Tri-State Human Relations Commission that gets everybody together. And although we've only been around for 2 months, I've already met with Jenkintown and Cheltenham and Abington and Springfield and Lower Merion and Upper Merion and
Right.
Pottstown. I've met with the folks in Delaware County, in Bucks County, and across the bridge. So we're getting to know people and we're learning things.
Have you heard anything that nobody come in with a complaint yet? I don't know if I asked that question before.
Not a single
yet.
complaint, but we
Okay.
know that they will come and we want to
Oh,
be
we know
prepared.
that.
We want to
Right,
be
right.
prepared.
All right, now, Montgomery County don't have one.
For some reason, Montgomery County does not have a county-wide human relations
They would be
ordinance.
bumping into each other, I think, you know? You know what would happen, I guess, if they wouldn't like what you did, they're going to call the county. If they don't like that, they go to the other. Too many steps.
Well, that's true, and also another problem is the way the state law is set up, and we all have to follow the state law. If you file with one place and don't like their decision, you can't go anywhere else.
Wait, run that by me again.
If you have a complaint and you bring it to us in East Norriton,
Right.
and we don't rule the way you'd like us to rule, we look at the facts and we say, we don't think you really have a complaint here.
Right.
The fact that you filed the complaint makes it official, and now you can't take your complaint to another Human Relations Commission.
Oh, okay. So in other words, that gives you the power. I mean, what good is it having if you're going to go bouncing the ball all over the place?
Exactly. It's about finishing things in a shorter period of time. If somebody comes to us, they don't go to court. They don't wait years for a hearing. They don't spend thousands and thousands on lawyers. We hear the cases. We arbitrate. We mediate the cases. We facilitate decisions.
Well, do you meet with the commissioners, the monthly meeting and all? Do you go there? Are you invited to that or what?
I think everybody is invited, but we haven't been there yet.
Oh, okay.
We would love to meet with Josh and Leslie and Bruce. We'd love to explain what we do.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Well,
sure
if there's nothing in the pan, you're going to serve nothing, right?
that's true. But maybe we can get a little, taste for something.
Oh,
and they
yeah,
can,
yeah. Well, the next time you go over there, I want to talk to them commissioners. I already talked to somebody in West Norton talking about 4th of July, okay? You can whisper in the commissioner's ear. 4th of July, they have fireworks in Norristown, and it creates a big traffic jam, and a lot of people can't see it, and, see the fireworks and everything. I was thinking that they would get the highest point in the state hospital at different locations. East Norton, West Norton, Norristown. Combine their money, fireworks, and again, shoot the fireworks from the state hospital highest point, and everybody will be able to see it, okay? And then the people at the Einstein Hospital, they'll have a ringside seat, okay? Have all that parking. So I talked to 2 commissioners in West Norton. They said, that's a great idea. Talk to somebody in East Norton. See, I think they would go for it. Norristown, I'll have to touch base with them and see what they're going to do, But I think it's something good there.
It is. Right now, what we do is we go out on our decks and we watch Norristown fireworks.
Yeah, yeah.
For free.
But we could have it 3 different high points at West Norton, at the state hospital, and everybody would enjoy it. And everybody would be able to see it, because the way it is now, you can't park. Well, that's something else. No, that's no commission. No, that's no complaint. That's an addition.
That's for the suggestion
Now-
box, not the complaint department.
All right, now, tell me now, you're an experienced, you were a probation officer, right?
I was.
In Philadelphia, right?
For 20 years.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the cases there about probation? What is probation? What are some of the? I didn't care. Juvenile. I spent most of my life as working with the juvenile probation and juvenile division. And I always thought that the juvenile probation officer, when he wants to check a kid, check him at the house, not the school. I don't know what, my thinking on that was that the kid would be home, when he's supposed to be home 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or so, probation officer go there and check him there rather than the school. I don't think it makes him a hero that he comes to the probation, calls him out of class to go there. I was against that. I don't know. Well, that's my thinking.
I was an adult probation and parole officer, so we checked at the guy's house at 9 o'clock at night to make sure he was there.
Yeah. Well, see, that should be done to juveniles when they should be home, you know. It's just something else. That's something else. All right. Now, in your experience, what else? You had the 911, your dispatcher. What's something about 911? What?
County.
I remember Bill Peters, the one that set that up. I don't remember him now. He was director of public safety.
There were pictures of him in the hallway.
Yeah.
911 in Montgomery County is probably one of the finest 911s anywhere.
I remember Philadelphia was in the process of doing it, and they got in touch with Bill Peters and wanted to know what Montgomery County was doing. And at that time, I was with Mayor Rizzo, you know, and I made a contact with them, you know, and they was assisted. They didn't do everything that Montgomery County, but they got an idea. You're right. We have one of the best systems here.
And it's got to be because unlike Philadelphia, unlike a big city, Montgomery County has to handle 60-odd different townships and boroughs.
Right.
They need to know about fire, ambulance, police, any other emergency services, hazmat. They've got to handle farmland. They have to handle big city. They have to handle suburbia. They have to handle shop. There's so many unique circumstances in Montgomery County that makes them the best.
Right. Now, your experience with Special Deputy, U.S. Marshal, and fugitive. Now, what's the scoop on that? Sometime when a fugitive, it's a federal charge, right?
A lot of times it was federal charges, but city charges and state charges were able to put the baddest of the bad into the fugitive task force. And we would go after guys in the Eastern District, which was pretty much anywhere within a 50-mile circle of Philadelphia.
You know, when I was with the county detectives, we had to go to Tennessee to pick up a prisoner. We had to bring him back here because he committed some crime here in Philly. And so it's always two state policemen and myself. And we always put the prisoner next to the window, me next to him there. So we're flying from Chicago to Philadelphia. And so I'm sitting with the guy, and I said to him, well, you know, I says, I'm Lieutenant Hank Cisco. I says, and, you know, we're going to be 4 hours or so, whatever. How about, look, cop, I don't like cops, and don't talk to me. I said, okay. He was mean. You were
lucky.
Said, well, look, I said, don't you go try to run away on me.
You're lucky. We had guys that wouldn't shut up. We begged them, please shut up for 5 minutes.
But this guy's one of the only guys that ever went over the wall at the Greater Ford somehow. And then he told me how he escaped. That's another story. No, but now you were a graduate of Temple University, right?
Proud Al.
All right. Tell me something about yourself.
Let's see, born and raised in Philadelphia.
Right.
Public school education. Was not the finest kid growing up.
Well, you got to bob and weave, right?
You got to bob and weave. Sometimes I didn't weave as quick or bob as quick.
Now, my name's Hank Cisco. I use that because I'm a professional boxer. My manager says nobody can pronounce Cisco. C-I-A-C-C-I-O.
Cisco.
You know, and the chow chow choo choo, nobody could pronounce my name. So my trainer and manager said, we change it, we're going to use Cisco. It's a lot easier to remember. You know, Al Wheel, who was also the manager of Rocky Marciano. And so now your name is Don Ben. So you have your name of a great middleweight boxer from Italy.
Well, my grandfather, when he left Italy, was Donato Benvenuto. Benvenuto. He went from Italy to Cuba, and he was still Benvenuto. Benvenuto. While he was in Cuba, he was involved with the U.S. Army as a translator, and they translated his name down to Don Ben. And by the time he reached South Philadelphia at the turn of the century, Donato Benvenuto, he's no more. It's just a Donna Ben.
Yeah, it's all right. No problem, man.
I am
That's
Don
no problem
Ben.
there, you know. And now you spent 8 years as a middle school teacher and a truant officer in Philadelphia schools. Now that's an experience.
You know, it was the 1970s,